Hi, good evening, ma'am. Ngasi gise post independence ki lecture series ta ahum suba session ni. And today we'll talk about the legacy of national movement ko. Mamangi ani suba session da koi na. On the first session we talk about a brief introduction to the political history of India on post independence India and the koi na previous year question khari yengre 2013 lagi 19 forward. And in that we talk about the land reforms of India, the Bhutan and the Gramdan movements, and then reorganization of states on linguistic factor, and then reorganization of states in recent times, and whether it is beneficial to the economy of India or not. Adom bagi critical evaluation macha ma tentak na yengkraba matungda akoina ani suba session da we move on to the legacy of the colonial legacy colonial empire have the British rule na karam legacy karam impacts thamame in socio-economic aspects and then political aspect, cultural aspect adumai tawduna. So in this lecture we'll talk about the legacy of national movement and sida koi national movement ha kana koi na khangi kana the nationalists have the freedom fighters sida koi role of Gandhiji and then role of women during the Gandhian phase, and then the INC Indian National Congress moina karam impact karam legacy thamabage. When we talk about the legacy, it includes socio-economic legacy, and we'll talk about the political legacy, right? So what kind of cultural legacy, what about the foreign policy of that time sigumba moina thamamba legacy sina how it shaped the present the political structure of India in the after independence sida karam ba impact has aduni yengdusi. So social legacy will talk onto this, and the economic legacy, political legacy, and finally the foreign policy So social legacy that like the Bipan Chandra ki India after independence athaba with a brief summary yamna a comprehensive and detailed summary then a so in exam perspective ki yeng matam dari ki in concise and precise manner in bullet format ta yeng mani adu ni am TLG. So we'll talk in social aspect kai ki ufang sapru report ki recommendation, and then Motilal Nehru report ki recommendations 1929 da sidagi yaw nangi fundamental rights ki provision nam reflect ki mana Bill of Rights United States ki the Constitution of the United States against the inspiration fanga hapakib so sigi Motilal Nehru report ki the yaw riba provisions magi salient features to koi Indian polity ki lecture series de yengre ai snapshot and hapake sida. So and then Gandhiji campaign against untouchability sisu social aspect ngatani khunai lon chakhot na ba kari torambage ba Harijan Sevak Sangh magi sida against the campaign for untouchability that akoi sida sokna samna dia, but the notion of the purity and pollution concept ri dina sida caste system gi sigi poche dai dina against SC ka hai SCs Dalits sigumbagi matang dani magi campaign, and then aduna akoi so after independence phanga matung da akoi hujik lairiba Constitution of India da kai schedule caste schedule type reservation reflected in article 15 si education ga mari lainana clause, and then hanak thachangiba clause 6 taga hapak EWS ki 15 clause 4 da yaure, and then article 16 the employment ga mari lainana piba 334 the political reservation in Lok Sabha, and then article 337 so hapsa loss the political reservation of scheduled tribes in state legislature reservation P is there scheduled caste scheduled tribe. It's not only limited to larik tambagi or thabak nate political reservation Lok Sabha the reservation laimogi seats, and then same state legislature to like, and then not only that, even in panchayats, local self-government, local bodies so article 243D dako adagi various caste based movements ma'am like post independence India like pre independence the ma'am like so adu ma'am modern history part atani, and then Karachi resolution Indian National Congress ki sida law every citizen shall enjoy freedom of conscience, profess, practice his religion. See that koi use right to freedom of religion and fundamental rights that reflect our yaw. So in a way, hiding is a kind of harakanda, music like post independent India da laiba koi government gi policy oro and then constitution da yariba provision oro si semakpa matamda colonial legacy plus nationalist legacy myam da inspire toroga mogi ko moidi inspiration loroga and then experiment kya toro matung da hapokhiba ngata ne ko si myam jina laiba socio economic policy je shape to bani jine post independent India da si ni haining is so and then in at the same balance ko economic legacy da di kai no so poverty and un-British rule in India and then economic history industry like ni si mami ji khanjalo just remember it as a factoid so na khanjalo for prelims perspective to come by darabai knowledge gi ramesh chandra dat rc dat ki economic history of India moi na ke dore moi gi economic drain theory kind of publish story ko the si aina high gram mamang da economic drain theory concept se ko that a part of the economy of India is being drained in the form of salaries or dividends or profit or so aduna India da chat kyo paisa duna ki that retarded human capital formation in India while ultimately it led to the economic growth of the Britain ko aduni ladies sigumba so sigumba mogi kenoze economic drain theory kind of published it has led to the spread of economic consciousness economic awareness on India to the masses ko exposing the myth that the British rule was in interest of India that the British rule India but it was being ruled to advance mainly the commercial interest ko moi khakta kana number to bune ham do gumbai consciousness adumbai awareness sama India macha sing the Indian masses sing the pirakki habani and then nationalists emphasize on modern agriculture self-reliant industry on science and technology adunani akoina hek even in the aftermath of the independence ki dore koi gi planning commission 1951 ki dore agricultural growth chicken of first 5 year plan the target ka set tori do ko and then focus on agrarian reforms and oppose unrestricted foreign capital entry and then akoi green revolution lady natra keno daga 1960s daga then 1931 the resolution on fundamental rights and economic program called the state shall own and control key industry services mineral etc ko is 1931 da INC na low kiba resolution ni ko 1938 da koi national planning committee lai ko India gi a brief history of planning commission hai da 1943 Bombay plan the Jawaharlal Nehru Subhash Chandra Bose they are all socialist ni ko so they emphasize for a social setup Jawaharlal Nehru gi kai no mai notion democratic socialism ni ko Sina all this shape the post-independence economic policy. Like you see, see the examples. Just 2 to 3 to 4, 5 to 6 on a bullet on a PVD. There are many examples, that shape the post-independence economic policy, and these are some of the important ones. So in political legacy is a kara yame, kara ma'am happer. Then role of Indian National Congress INC and then nationalists in arousing political consciousness. Not only political consciousness, political awareness, khatang piban natana also political education as well as political participation so piri dena ko masses na hanadi against the British ki mayok the rule opposed it was only limited to elite educated class. It was done by modern intelligentsia, modern education phanga by elite class khang tarok poneba kona Gandhian face ka lakde ke dore masses me myamje every stakeholder society women ogera lower caste ogera in the freedom struggle in the nationalist struggle gi fall the pull up function of podoko so that was a kind of a new taste that added to the freedom struggle duni and then leaders like Gopal Krishna Gokhale Azad Tilak Lala Rajpat Rai Motilal Nehru Jawaharlal Nehru Subhash Chandra Bose JP mayam hapsan biare ko J Prakash Narayan ka and then role of Gandhi during the Gandhian phase Gandhian phase the last phase of the Indian Gandhian phase last phase of the Indian freedom struggle in 1917 dagi horga 1947 kai gino si khangne je mana South Africa dai halak pose habidi Mahatma Gandhi na India da South Africa da lawyer or leidena magi satyagraha gi experiment myam toroga laidena ko 1915 da chatlore 1915 da hale sahi ma koire ko in all India je khangnaba munna khangnaba kamai torino kholino ko and then 1917 nagi entry to hode ko magi amna champaran satyagraha tore that we witnessed the first civil disobedience movement lai then Ahmedabad the mill hunger strike tore ko all my paki and khira satyagraha and then role rolat satyagraha tawredna ko. So adumai tawdana akoina Gandhian methods of satyagraha magi non-violence sigumbaje uba phangi karabda rolat satyagraha da ugre non-cooperation khilafat movement Hindu Muslim unity uba phangi ko in the aftermath of the First World War da tawgibani civil disobedience movement CDM 1930 da and then Quit India movement or August Revolution 1942 da ko sigumba myam da uba phangi ko. And then ado yam nungaibam lay akoy na di akoy Indian modern history approach ma'am like the subaltern approach, the nationalist approach, the feminist approach ko, and then the Cambridge school ki approach like Marxist approach like nationalist approach the high is India na ning tamba phang is it was mainly because of the role of Indian National Congress and then Gandhi ka high, but surprisingly, akoy keno advanced transfer of power from Britain to India to Britain to native India the transfer of powers hinrakiba the main reason je matam da akoy British ki Prime Minister Clement Attlee ma masamang na kai haiga kana my statement da just in a phone call da ma haibani ko British PM Clement Attlee ma haib da ma haibani koy that the that the decolonization of India has less to do with the Quit India movement of Gandhi and the role of INC. It has more to do with the the increasing extremist pressure of the Subhash Chandra Bose roles at the mind peak. But that's a part of the another story and we'll not talk about it. But the mine I have a audio clip YouTube anyway. So and then after 1919 it was built around the basic notion that people had to play an active role in politics. 1919 the uba phangre akogi nang kai movement uba phangi ge the rolat satyagraha ugre ko sida. And then sidani akogi Jallianwala Bagh massacre ga thoido ko koi British ki General Dyer na kapaga mass kano tawgido extortion nama nomai kapaga ko sima da yawdo. And then from the very beginning, nationalists demanded universal adult franchise, democratic institution based on popular freedom press. Karikedo ufangi Congress Ministry 1937. Sigi matamjida Gandhi phagra matungda Congress da phagra matungda Gandhi phagre. Adai kai tawsiga hai khandra ko matamda nangi Swarajist ka no changers and changers haibigi ani conflict lakan akoina vote lepaga government British government gi marak sida paiba yawge kharamna yawro nu kholu adu conflict lakpada semgi sarkar duni. Anyway, they have extended civil liberties to peasants, the worker movements, Ugre Communist Party, and then Indian National Congress that was formed in 1895. That it was based on democratic principles. Hybrid democratic principles the yumpham orga mogi decision and then mogi any resolution ama yanaba prokmatam the voting topic of that we example the high tardy. She said akoina argument that we have to substantiate that particular argument with facts, figures, or or opinion of an eminent scholar ko ado sigumba examples piraga substantiate to be habidi INC democratic principles yumpham oi proof toro haida chini 1920 da NCM to voting do Simai Togi, and then 1929 is Simai Togi, and then dissent opposing opinion was part of the Congress working style. Tilak proclaimed liberty of phrase, liberty of speech. So these are certain examples that that can that proves that INC was always based on the democratic principles. And then basic notions of sovereignty, civil liberties, democracy were not the contribution of yam phazaba conclusion. Uzik lairiba conclusion. Indian Constitution the idea of tolerance, the notion of secularism, the notion of liberty, equality, fraternity, and then the sovereignty, civil liberties, democracy. Siguma ma'am say colonial empire, British Thambiramba. It was not the contribution of colonialism, but it was that of the national movement INC da the Gandhian methods to uba phangiwa satyagraha non-violence question yam fazam lani if Gandhi leramdaba targadi India gi freedom struggle je kamai tarongada gi haibako oi phangdi dum phangduni ngasai Clement Attlee gi wahai ju dum legran that it has less to do, the transfer of power has less to do with the role of Gandhi and the role of INC magi Quit India movement but it has more to do with the extreme pressure of the Indian National Army and then the phase of decolonization that started, in the African and Asian colonies, the aftermath of the World War II ko. World War II na su mayam achoba role lawi India gi independence phangwada ko. So anyway, aduna phangduni Gandhi lem taba ta so, but akoi constitution da uba phangba DPSP da directive principles of state policy da Gandhian values leiba, and in the notion of tolerance, the notion of secularism ko, that's shown in the liberation of Bangladesh. So uba phangije sium Pangamoy, India would not be a tolerant nation and secular nation. From an ethical perspective, so anyway, and this was why Pakistan failed in forging democracy ko, since Muslim League was opposed to civil liberties. This is a beautiful conclusion. So anyway, so foreign policy di kamay to we har kanda. So we always opposed to colonialism. INC ko moy gise support for people fighting for independence, which is why anti-fascist tendency Hitler gi rise of fascism of 1930s 1940s. So INC moi adugi mayokten leje aduna ke dore we our nationalists, they have lent support to the struggle against fascism gi mayokta ko aduna independence tan bigi cannot hold Ethiopia da, Spain da, China da, Czechoslovakia da adumba 1939 Tripoli session da ju INC dissociated itself from the British policy which supported fascism in Europe. So these are some examples tolerance against anti-fascist stain labor policy and then non-aligned movement ko nam ko news nam principles manga do khangji see it's a part of the GS paper 2 international relations ko tasu say mutual respect for each other, orders, territorial integrity and sovereignty ko, mutual non-aggression, mutual non-interference in domestic affairs, equality and mutual benefit, peaceful coexistence. CJ just khangdalo. So aduna koi huzik the legacy of national movement da koi social legacy, economic legacy, political legacy and foreign policy yengre. So this was all about it. So thank you, have a nice day.